No, welcome back. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the scanner, okay, for the tokenization. And if you recall in our previous example, we also saw examples about the usage of scanner, okay. So for scanner, it's an object that can parse primitive types, okay, and strings into tokens and using some regex, okay, regular expression. And for scanner to do the tokenization, it uses delimiters, okay. And the default delimiter is just white space. And we can also specify delimiter. We are going to see in an example. And after you specify delimiter, then scanner will use the next method to retrieve the token one by one, okay? And then it will also attempt to parse the tokens into the correct form, okay? Primitive type like integer, float, boolean, okay? It can also throw exception, okay? If the retrieved next token is not in the correct form. So this is the general idea about scanner. So let's take a look at the example. And, so this example is the third example in this chapter is example 3, scanner. Let's take a look what we did here. Okay, so for this program, what it does, it will read two files. Okay, one is called context space, the other is context comma. And for the first one, to try to look for some information, the name is PQR. Okay, it's called read file for name. And what the second one trying to do is read file and then sort by age. Okay. And so here, these are the two methods, okay, dealing with file reading and handling. And for the file read and sort bytes, after it find all the information, it will store them in an array list, okay. Then we are going to sort the array list by the age and output everything. Okay, and here we have a method called open file. And I remember in the previous example, we also saw this method. And because it deals with file opening, etc. And so that's I/O input and output. So it's checked exception. So this function itself will throw the file not found exception in case the file is not does not exist. Okay, so here is the file name. You associate file name with the file. Okay, then you check if the file exists and if the file can be read. Is it? Otherwise, it will throw the exception. Okay. So that's regarding this method. And we are going to use this method in our next method. And then for this one, this method is to read the file and try to find some specified name to collect information regarding that name. That we are going to have a scanner object. So we open the file, call that open file method. And also, if you take a look here, we have that try catch block because all of these operations tasks deal with input and output. Okay, and I/O it can cause exception for the checked exception, so we must handle it. So for this method, as we handle it, for the previous method, we throw the exception, we declare it, okay? So this open file, it may throw exception if you recall it, but the exception then will be handled here, okay? And if everything's fine, then you associate the file with the scanner. So this time, the scanner doesn't read input from keyboard. It read input from the file, okay? And it has that. And we didn't specify delimiters. By default, it's just use space as a delimiter, okay? And then to keep calling like next or next integer depends on the type of uh, the structure, okay? So here you can get name, city, email, and age, okay? And if you loop all through the file, you cannot find images, okay? You cannot find that information you requested. And also here we handle different exception, okay? And if everything goes fine, is it for the scanner, we also need to close it, okay? So that's about this method. And for the next method, okay, so it's going to do the reading, okay, and it returns the array list of the contents. So this time we have the scanner, we also has a buffered reader, okay, and we have the array list. So the file that has of the information we are going to processing, then we associate it with the buffered reader. So this time we do the buffered reader, okay? And the scanner then will read from the buffer reader instead of directly go to the reader, okay? And the advantage for this, previously we also explained, because for buffered reader, it can avoid it can decrease the reading and the writing overhead, okay? So it's more efficient. So it's going to read from the buffer, okay? And this time, the delimiter we specify, okay? So it's a comma with some space, with any number of space ahead it and after it, okay? And a comma, okay? And then the next are the similar. You just read next and check if it has next. You can keep reading. Is it an integer? And then after we read everything, is it we get the age and name out and add it to the array list. And here, because it also deal with files, so there are some exception. So this is a checked exception, so we must handle that, okay? And it involves the reader, okay? And also involves scanner, so we both needed to close that, okay? And for the reader, it also involves input and output, so that's why here we also put it in the try-catch block. And also here, be careful, we close the reader first and then close the scanner, okay? Because if you recall that, yeah, you use reader first and then you use scanner. So that's why when you close, it's a reverse order. Okay, so that's about this example. It's the coding, and next, let's take a look at the running result. Okay. So if you take a look at the running result, you can see it did find the record for the specified name. So city, email, and age and name all fine. Okay. And then for the other file, yeah, it read all of the records and sorting. You can see sort by age, okay, in ascending order. Okay, so that's about this example. And we can also take a quick look of uh, the two text file for this example. Mm. And mm, yeah, if we take a look, we can see for the first text file, yeah, the token is delimited, is separated by just a space, okay. While for the second one, where is the second one? Hold on. Oh, I think I need to find it. The second one is comma one. Comma one, and then let's take a look. Okay, if we take a look, you will see that this time, for the second file, we use comma to the delimiter. It does work. Okay, so it can deal with you have space ahead of and after the comma, or you see. So for this one, it doesn't have space ahead of the comma, but have a number of space after the comma. So it can deal with all of the scenario. So with the comma. Okay, so that's a delimiter. Okay, so that's for this scanner for the tokenization example, and we will stop here for this lecture and come back in a little while. See you.